Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Funky Moose Radar, a weekly podcast about the world of vinyl, music and record gear. My name is Mark and I run Funky Moose Records. All the articles I discuss are hot topics and available to read on radar.funkymoose.ca, and I will leave a link below in the description. So this is, like I said, the first episode of a weekly podcast that I'm planning to do because I've done a few videos in the past, and although they've got some good interaction, I felt like most of them were already done before. You know, I talked about cartridges, I talked about turntable mats, a video about a spin clean. It's all fun, but I wanted to do something different, and I don't think the format that I'm presenting to you right now is done before. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's dig into it. The first article is written by the Financial Review, and it says, is the vinyl revival about to get scratched? The details about this article is that the article writes about how the big labels like Universal, Sony, and Warner are basically hogging. It's kind of a weird name, but they're kind of blocking off the record plants, the vinyl pressing plants for smaller labels. So what's happening right now is because there's such a limited amount of record pressing plants available around the world. There's only one in Canada and only a handful in the US, I believe. So what's happening is that because everybody's getting into vinyl right now and everybody's buying records from bigger names like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, you know, those kind of names, the big labels are ordering big numbers of vinyl at those plants, which means the plants have to make a decision. Do they take the big money from the big companies, or do they actually press for smaller record labels? Now, there's, like I said, there's one record plant or pressing plant in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. They're called Canada Boy Vinyl, and they actually give the smaller labels the right of way, which is really cool, I believe. So if you're a small band, not signed with a big label, and you want your records pressed, Canada Boy Vinyl will probably get you in pretty quick. And if you look at the bigger plans around the world, Europe is a big market. They're just struggling to keep up. Pressing plants keep breaking down. They're old. The parts are old. They're hard to maintain. But the good news is that people like Jack White is starting a new pressing plant. Crosley is also starting a pressing plant. I'm hoping they're doing a better job at that than making their Crosley turntables. But at least there's movement. So although this article is putting it out to be pretty gloomy, I don't think it's that bad. So yeah, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. But I think yes, right now we're kind of in a vinyl bubble. But eventually it'll pop, I think, and what's left is the hardcore collectors that might, you know, keep all these pressing plants alive. Next article is by Deep House Amsterdam, and they give you 10 tips for when you're heading to a record fair. They're actually pretty straightforward. You know, from make sure you bring enough cash with you, obviously, because you don't want to go there broke. Usually record fairs don't do debit or credit card transactions, and record vendors like to see cash. So cash is good. Trust your eyes and go with the flow. Trust your eyes. What they mean is it definitely helps to have a hefty knowledge of the material you'll be gazing through, but it's really a matter of taking or noticing a record, taking it out, and if you like it, buy it. Don't just don't buy it because you don't know it, because actually they mentioned that down here somewhere. Anyway, so this is a good list of to go through if you're heading to a record fair. Go to the cheap crates first, because you'll be able to get a few, maybe a good few gems there, and you might be coming back with more records than if you go to the expensive crates and buy 2 records that you may have wanted, but you could also go for the cheap crates and come home with 15 records for the same price. If you already have an idea what you want, make a list. That way you know what you're looking for, and you did your research, you know what the sleeves look like or the covers look like, so it's easier to pick what you want. Be sure to toggle between your price versus diversity objectives. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Multiple vendors rather than... Oh, right. If you go with one vendor, so you see a few records at one vendor, it's probably easier to get a little bit of a discount if you buy more than one record than if you buy one record at every stall. Go for depth. Buy records you deeply immerse yourself into. Don't just buy a whole bunch of stuff that you never heard of and might not listen to at all. Go for the samplers. Go for the dollar bins. I'm not sure if that's a great idea. I mean, yeah, sure, there might be some great records in there, but you might end up with a bunch of stuff that you probably never play again. Make sure you go around the whole place before deciding to purchase. Makes sense, because experience learns that spending all your money in the first aisle, you will always find something that you want kind of more in the second aisle. Ask the guys working on what they recommend. Most of these people are record store owners, so they know what's hot, they know which albums go well with others. So yeah, and usually record store owners, being one myself, love to talk about music. So don't be afraid to strike up a conversation. Pick out a few on a completely random basis. Don't do this with all of them, but it's good to just go with your gut. I've done this at a Value Village in the States. It's called Savers. Once or twice I went there. I saw a cover that I liked. I have never heard of the music and ended up buying it and liking the music. So, for $2-3 you can't really go wrong. And then here it's mentioning, but make sure you'll actually be playing the records that you're buying. So don't just buy it because to have a big collection. Buy records that you might actually enjoy. And go later in the day, because vendors might want to clear out their stuff. So it might be easier to haggle for a better deal. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good list of stuff to keep in mind when you go to a record fair. There are not a lot of them around my area here, but the few that are there are usually pretty small. So nothing like the picture in here. Next article. The Ottawa Citizen writes, an Ottawa shop dropped from Record Store Day vinyl release promotion. So the owner of this record store got penalized by the Record Store Day organization because he was taking, what was the official reason? Because he didn't want to buy a whole bunch of records up front, and he would just pick and choose which ones that he wanted. Record Store Day organization doesn't like that very much. They would rather see record stores full of Record Store Day releases. Except the other side of the story is that if you're a record store owner, you order all the Record Store Day releases. Chances are that you're not getting them all, but you might end up with a whole bunch of records that you will never sell because although Record Store Day is an awesome day for record stores, the fact is that the releases are not all that great. There are a few gems in there that usually end up on eBay for a lot of money, but there are a lot of releases that are, average at best. And then a record store owner is stuck with those records that he paid for and is in his inventory and will never move. So there are two sides to this story. I tend to side with the record store owner because that's basically my perspective too. And yes, I appreciate very much what Record Store Day is doing for record stores around the world. But I'm getting the feeling that they're slowly losing track of what Record Store Day used to be. Again, leave a comment in the comment section below about this. What do you think? Should the record store owner just suck it up, have the whole collection, and hopefully he will sell everything, or pick and choose and maybe sacrificing being included in the promotion for Record Store Day? Next article is by Ars Technica UK. Meet the 1900 pound, as in British pound, the currency, vinyl record cleaner made out of car and caravan parts. Now, for the people that are in North America, a caravan is a trailer, and 1900 pounds is about 3,500 Canadian dollars. I don't know what it is in US dollars, but a quick calculation should be around 2,700 to 3,000 US dollars. The article is kind of written in a way as if the writer is baffled by the fact that records are still out there. I don't know. You should read the article. It's like I said, written in a way as if the writer finds it surprising that there's record cleaners around. It caught my eye because, made out of car and caravan parts, that's kind of cool if you ask me. I mean, the paneling, yes, that's definitely from the inside of a trailer. And if you go down, there's the platter from an old turntable. And then here there's a little box where you would put the insect repellent in your caravan. There's a little mason jar or jam jar, whatever, for the pump and the excess water and all that. So it looks very handmade, and that's probably why everybody's a little bit surprised about the price tag. It's called a Keith Monk's Discovery 1 semi-automatic precision record cleaning machine. You might want to write that down if you want to buy one. I think it's pretty cool that people are, getting out of their way and building stuff like this rather than just, buying one from a store. I think it's cool. Comment section below. Let me know what you think. Then the last article that I want to address is this virtual crate digging is like touching and feeling your favorite 90s hip hop records. I kind of disagree on that one because, in short, this is a little web app that is supposed to be interactive and allows you to scroll through a crate of a few records, and it's supposed to give you the feel of flipping through records. Now, if you have a laptop like mine, which is from 2008, the web app is definitely not, or your laptop will definitely not be happy with the crate digging because it'll be choppy, and it seems like it's a very heavy app. Now, that's me as a web designer talking. I like the idea, and I like that there's people making stuff like this. But the headline is a little bit over the top, I think. Virtual crate digging, sure, but like touching and feeling your favorite 90s hip hop records, I don't think so. But anyway, it's cool that it's made. I mean, go ahead. The link is on radar.funkymoose.ca. Check it out. See what you think. First of all, I'm not too much into hip hop, but that has absolutely nothing to do with this app. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool, nifty type thing, but I think it's overhyped a little bit in this article. Anyway, so those are that's the top 5 articles that were available on the Radar last week. And because this is let's call it a pilot episode, there might be a next one, depending on all of your comments. Thanks for listening. I tried to make it as much as I tried to make it as much a podcast as possible, so you didn't really have to watch the video. You can just listen to it in the background. Let me know what you think about this episode and in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these. Also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And that's it for now. Until next week, keep it groovy.